Yes. So I have chosen to analyze Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday, which is one of her more famous songs. Strange Fruit was originally a poem written by Abel Marapple in the 1930s. He wrote the poem because of the continuous racism in America. In 1939, Billie Holiday recorded the song, and we can categorize it as a protest song against these lynchings in the southern states. Billie Holiday is African American herself, and because of that and the fact that she chose to perform this song, we know that she is against the racism and discrimination and lynchings of black people. The poem has a very consistent structure, with 3 stanzas, each with 4 verses. We can see a lot of these AABB end rhymes. Well, we see it all throughout the 3 stanzas. As an example, I could read the end rhymes from the first stanza. So we have fruit and root from the first verse and breeze and trees from the second verse. The language in the poem is extremely strange, abstract, and scary, which also makes it extremely interesting with its use of contrasts and rhymes, metaphors, and symbols. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about the music, but it also plays a major role in how we perceive this song. As I said, Billie Holiday uses a lot of contrast. We can see this in stanza 2, where verse 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are contrasts of each other. In verse 1 and 2, she says, "The pastoral scene of the gallant South, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth." So in this first in the first verse, she gives us this picturesque look of the southern states by describing it as gallant and almost idealizing it. But the second verse, she gives us her own opinion on what the southern states look like. Dead people hanging from trees, with bulging eyes and a twisted mouth. In verse 3 and 4, she says, "The scent of magnolias sweet and fresh, then the sudden smell of burning flesh." So in verse 3, she once again describes a beautiful scenery of the southern states by describing the sweet and fresh scent from the magnolia flowers. And in stanza 4, she says that it's not only the scent of magnolias that can be found in the southern states, but also the stench of dead people lying in the sun. Some examples of metaphors can be found in the first stanza, verse 1 and 4, and the third stanza, verse 1 and 4 again. Here black people are described as strange fruit. So she's saying that trees bear fruit, but definitely not that kind of fruit. So she's connecting the lynchings to something unnatural, something that should not happen but still does. So we have some examples of symbols as well. For example, in the first stanza, verse 2, where she says, "Blood on the leaves and blood at the roots." This is a symbol of the long-lasting racism in America. So there's blood on the leaves, but also at the roots of the tree. So we can say that racism is deeply integrated in the American culture. Another symbol is, "Here is a fruit for the crows to pluck." So crows. This was stanza 3, verse 1. Here she calls the lynched people fruit for crows. So the crows are a symbol for death. Yeah, the main themes of the poem are lynchings and violence against black people in the southern states. Well, all throughout America, but mostly in the southern states. The intentions of the songs are to educate us about the horrible reality of being black in the southern states, not just under the Jim Crow laws, but throughout all of American history. She also shines a light at the horrible lynchings that occurred back then.